And we are the coalition. Focus on business. We're still loud, we're still proud, but now in a special format on Tuesday nights, typically at 8:45 or so, depending on earlier evening programming, we're going to be talking to business owners around southern New England. Their loves, their challenges, their background, their backstories, their products, their employees, their sources, everything you need to know about, well, if you will, what it takes. What is that special sauce to make, and I won't call it small business, local business, or there is no such thing as a small business, whether you have one employer or you have 1,000. That business is your own, well, private Idaho, your own private ecosphere, your own private environment. Something that passionate people around the Ocean State, southeastern Massachusetts, and eastern Connecticut have created, oftentimes encompassing a lifetime of work and study for that one special moment when they're ready to take it, as they say, to Broadway. We're about 3 or 4 shows into it. We've had folks from restaurants, we've had folks from coffee shops, we've had wedding photographers. There's one common denominator, it's passion. I've been self-employed. Heck, you can say I am now with this in a sense. Folks always ask me, well, it's great, you're self-employed. You get to set your own hours. And I would often respond to them, well, that's great. If I'm awake, I'm working. And our guests certainly can attest to that. Joining me tonight is someone who joined the Coalition Radio Network earlier in the year. He is what I would call a serial entrepreneur. And that is a special compliment because that's sort of a 21st century equivalent of Renaissance man, if you will. I know he's laughing right now. But ultimately, when you're a serial entrepreneur, you take ideas, you see needs, you see wants, you see desires, and you do your best, not just to think about, wow, that'd be great if we could do this, this, and this, and to cater to that need or that missing link, if you will, or over a couple beers with pals. Wouldn't it be fabulous if we did this? No, a serial entrepreneur actually sees a need, very often fulfilling a need that we not even knew we had needed or had, and they turn it into a business. And then they hire people, and they innovate. Sometimes they start with a single idea, and it grows. An unattended part of the business grows and eclipses the original idea. Regardless, the difference between a serial entrepreneur and perhaps the rest of us is that those individuals make it happen. So joining us again for the second time since the Coalition Radio Network grew to be a multi-show, multi-platform format, Anthony Spiratos, welcome to the Coalition Focus on Business.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
This is outstanding. We're going to focus tonight, earlier in the year, you joined us to talk about a business that's still very much in form, very much to life, very much involved in the day-to-day life, Newport. And of course, we're talking about no contact valet. And again, you saw a need there in the earliest days of the pandemic, and you fulfilled it. The first question I have to ask you is, you and I have spoken since then. This is the first time back, if you will, live in living color. Did you at all ever anticipate that we would be 9 to 10 months into this, and this would still be an integral part of our lives?
Yes, I anticipated it. I felt there was no way that we would be out of this. I mean, this is something that is, of global proportions. It's affecting all walks of life, all kinds of businesses, and it's affecting every single state, every single community across the country. And I just didn't see this as a short-term thing. So that's why I positioned my company for the long haul, and we're even positioned for after the pandemic lifts too. So now is the time where we hit the ground running, and we gain as much ground as we possibly can in the market, and we really try to make a difference. And we believe that our business model is a lot better than these out of state, out of touch, multi-billion dollar third party delivery apps.
Absolutely. So let's dial back for a second. For folks who haven't met you or didn't see this when you were on last time, give us, if you will, a couple minutes, just a brief insight into the Spiratos family, your position in the businesses your family's been engaged in, and on Aquidneck Island for actually for multiple generations, and where you got your entrepreneurial spark from.
Well, I'm lucky in the sense that I came from a long line of people that were entrepreneurs. They came to this country. Both sides of my family came here with just the shirt on their back and the American dream, and the dream of a better tomorrow for their kids and their grandkids and their great grandkids. And uh, I'm a lifelong Newporter. And I since have moved across the border to Middletown, not too far away. But
Across the border.
I, I'm a true born Islander, and I love this place. And my grandparents on my dad's side had a dry cleaning business, and on my mom's side they were farmers and had a potato farm. And um, both saw an opportunity where others didn't. And like for instance, my grandparents during World War II in the Great Depression, they saw that Newport was a heavily dominated Navy town, and they got into uh, uh, dry cleaning Navy uniforms, and they were so good at it that it went from originally it was just a shine parlor, but it grew into that, and then they were able to employ about 100 people, and they nobody can compete with them. They were really good at what they did. And then the same thing on my grandparents' side. On my mom's side, they came to this country, same deal, no money, just a shirt on their back. And my grandfather started renting. He started working on a farm, and then he saved some money, rented land, and then from there he started buying land and in Middletown, and just kept buying it and buying it and buying it. And it turned into the largest farm on Aquidneck Island, 100 acres, and he grew potatoes, and then he ended up landing a contract with Freedom Potato Chip Company. And
Wow.
so I mean, I had a lot of people growing up that I could look up to, and I'm fortunate in that. And I was always taught that you can start with nothing, and then from there, just an idea, a single idea, you can grow it into something that is bigger than yourself, and
Mhm.
you can take it to the ends of the earth pretty much. And that's
Right.
that's what I was taught. That's what I believe, and that's what I hope to do with this idea that I have. That's going forth now.
So, fair to say that capitalism, the entrepreneurial spirit, is part of the Spiratos DNA. Fair enough. Oh, we got you there, buddy.
Yes,
Ah, okay.
absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. We believe that you can just dream big, and you can pretty much live up to your full potential, and you can create something that's really special. And not only that, but can help the community out too, um, and also employ people, give them jobs. And we just like my grandfather, on my dad's side, saw an opportunity, during World War II and the Depression. He was actually able to employ people during the Depression. Can you believe
Right.
that? When people were out of work, he was able to employ them because the Navy was here, and he was able to secure that contract. and he was able to help out a lot of people, and get them through the depression. And if you think about it, this is kind of our modern day depression.
Right.
People are out of work, people are suffering, and the key to helping people get out of this mess here is to come up with a solution kind of out of the box that will, save an industry. And as everybody knows, Newport and Aquinic Island, they're one of the biggest industries here is the restaurant industry, and the hospitality industry. And I believe that we can save it. The government is not really, for lack of a better word, not really, it's not helping.
No.
And what we need is, entrepreneurs, that vision that can get us out of this mess, help people out. People need help out. People need help now. They can't wait. They can't wait a week. They can't wait a month. They're going day by day right now. And
Mhm.
that's what we need to do. And that's why I came up with this idea to do delivery, because it's essential. It's an essential part that's going to get the restaurant industry, out of this mess, that the pandemic has caused.
So let's cue, if you will. It's April, May now of 2020, the cursed year. Restaurants now are facing this ever-changing dynamic: when they can be open, how they can be open, how many people they can have, under what conditions they can have them, inside, outside. Let's spend a lot of money recreating inside, put it outside, even though it's still inside, and somehow that'll help. Uh, I think they call that an ever-changing landscape in the newspeak world. The conversation that I've had,
Yeah.
if you will, with Governor Raimondo on a number of occasions is that, if you will, the hospitality business, the events business, is the tail that wags Rhode Island's dog. There is no doubt in my mind that, and I'd love to see the numbers. It'd be great if, for all the people we have in government, if they could actually break out the numbers to understand how Aquidneck Island, for tourism, for defense spending, and innovation, is really the golden calf, the golden goose, if you will, of Rhode Island on so many different levels in a state that is so damn Pawtucket, Providence, Inner Core, Central Rhode Island obsessed. The amount of wealth that is generated by Newport, by Middletown, Portsmouth, the entire subset of Aquidneck Island is enormous. Now, you've got this existential crisis. You've got world-class restaurants, hey, with amazing food, people still capable of buying that food, wanting to buy that food, almost seeing it as almost a patriotic duty, if you will, to buy that food. You've got already a business in place, No Contact LA, which had already started to work on that. How do we maintain that connection between the Aquidneck Island consumer and the invaluable, the heritage, if you will, of Aquidneck Island restaurants and other businesses, associated businesses? What was the spark? What was that hallelujah light bulb going off kind of moment?
Well, I was driving down one evening down Broadway and Thames Street in Newport, and I noticed, during the start of the pandemic, that a lot of the restaurants were closed, and I thought to myself, well, why aren't they doing delivery? Kind of seemed like the natural kind of thing to do. So I'm somebody that likes to ask a lot of questions, and I like to, get answers for those questions. So I started to investigate it. And first off, it's very expensive for restaurants to do delivery, and also it's a logistical, um, logistical nightmare. Um, and Pat, I'm getting a little feedback here.
Yeah, there we go. We got that. So go right ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, um, it was a logistical nightmare for restaurants to do. It takes a lot of logistics to do it, and a lot of restaurants aren't equipped to do that kind of thing. So I said, okay, if they can't do it in-house, why aren't they doing it, you know, by hiring one of these third-party apps like DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub or any one of those. So I investigated that, and then I found out that they were charging restaurants 15 to 30% commission. So if you have $100 meal, they have to pay these third-party apps in some cases $30. And not only that, but the customers also get charged too. And they have all these different kinds of fees that they have to pay. So the, the apps got greedy. They got too greedy. And I haven't met one restaurant that has had a good experience with them. And that's amazing to me. What other industry, and I've been in different types of businesses over the years, I have never been in a industry where your big competitors are so unliked. And I haven't, I've yet to find a restaurant that's had a good experience.
Well,
It would be amazing if I actually met one.
let's talk about some of the business practices of these organizations. You mentioned the
Yeah.
usurious fees, the confiscatory fees that they charge, essentially profiteering. And listen, I'm a capitalist. I believe in free markets, but what's particularly aggravating is you've got situations well documented, and I've discussed this firsthand with restaurant owners myself out here on the mainland, where you've got drivers dispersed by some of these organizations. They've got company credit cards. These national organizations are acting like they've got agreements in place with these restaurants, and
Yes.
then taking orders on their behalf, often with menus that are either outdated or complete fiction, on prices that they've invented.
Yeah.
All right. And then delivering
Yeah.
that to the consumer. The consumer has a miserable experience because, these people, drivers literally show up and say, okay, where's my food? I'm taking the food to, and so because of the
Yeah.
chaos and confusion, there's long delays in delivery times. The food is often, from these finer restaurants, these can be relatively, expensive meals, worth every penny of it.
Absolutely.
But there's an implicit cost in that, and so the food when or if it's finally delivered is often cold. It's not presented well. It's all in all, and of course, who takes the hit for that is the local restaurant.
Yes.
These organizations, they're just terrible, terrible in every single way. It's
Yeah.
atrocious. What have you seen that kind of stuff out on the island as well?
Absolutely. It's like that on steroids around here. And that's why I've gone from just me and a couple of people that were working for me to now I have 17 drivers and I have 25 restaurants, and
Wow.
I've just begun to fight. And I did that in when I start the online platform, um, which the online platform launched about 6 or 7 weeks ago. That was a game changer. That made it a lot more efficient for people to order and for restaurants to partner with me. And we went from having a couple of restaurants to 25 restaurants in about 6 or 7 weeks. So can you imagine what we're going to do in 2, 3, 4, 6 months from now? It's really, really exciting. And the great thing is our model is different, and I can't emphasize that enough, different than any of the big apps. And I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
We are free for restaurants to use, and we always will be. And when I say that to restaurants, they're amazed. They're like, "Well, what's the catch?" There is no catch. We are literally free for restaurants to use, and we always will be. Our mission is to save the restaurant industry, and that's what we're going to do. One restaurant at a time. We're going to do it, and we're also going to put people back to work. That's why I always, I try to hire as many people from the restaurant industry as I possibly can that have been laid off or have had their hours cut. And we're not just stopping there with the 17 drivers that we have. Every step of the way, when I add more restaurants, I hire more drivers.
Mhm.
And the restaurant keeps 100% of what they make. No more nightmares of 15 to 30% commissions anymore. No more worrying about what kind of caliber driver you're going to get. Every driver that I have has passed a national background check. They must be professional at all times, and they must conduct themselves in a professional manner. We run a tight ship, but we're really good at what we do, and we're really proud of it. Um, conduct ourselves in the most professional manner possible, and we have to get the customer's food from the restaurant to the customer so that it is not just warm, but it's hot. And if you read our reviews on Facebook, you'll see that a lot of our customers in a lot of these Facebook groups, like the Aquinic Island Takeout Food and Delivery Group, they often say that the food arrived not at the time that we told them to, but a couple minutes before, and they're amazed at it. And we're always striving for perfection. We have, if a customer has an issue, they don't have to call customer service in Timbuktu somewhere. They can call me, and I'll pick up the phone and I'll talk to them. And if they have an issue, we're going to solve that issue. If a restaurant has any kind of issue that comes up, we solve that in minutes. They don't have to wait 24 to 36 hours for some, customer service person that knows nothing about their restaurant to call them back. And, so every second and every minute in the hospitality restaurant industry counts. If a customer needs something, it has to be addressed right then and there. Anything short of that's unacceptable. So we we strive for perfection as much as we possibly can, and the results are that we're growing by leaps and bounds now, which is truly exciting, and I feel that I can take this model that my company has, and I believe that we can spread this across the state and beyond. And we can really show how delivery should be done. And we can really, once and for all, save the restaurant industry, from slipping into the abyss. And we can save it. I truly think so.
Folks, if you're just joining us right now, Anthony Spiratos, someone I'm proud to call a friend, and someone who is a serial entrepreneur, successful business person in Aquidneck Island as well as across Rhode Island, has joined us. His newest They got a hankering for some oysters. They got a hankering for some quality Italian. The microwave has had it. They're tired, and they're exhausted because there's tension. People are working twice as hard, and they want to treat. They want to enjoy a bit of Rhode Island that they've grown to embrace. We're very fortunate that we live in a place which has these amazing restaurants in an amazing city. So what do? What's the first step? Let's just say they want to order from LaForge, for example.
All right, so there's two ways that they can do that. For example, if they want to go to LaForge and get delivery, they could go to LaForge's website and click delivery, and then I'll take them to our online delivery platform, and then they can select the menu items that they want, pay for it, and then it will go to my call center, which is local, and my call center will call the order into the restaurant, and then dispatch one of our amazing delivery drivers to go get it, and then it will arrive right at their doorstep, and they can do it completely contactless. So there doesn't have to be any kind of interaction because they already paid for the meal right on the site. Or the second way is they go to newportdineout.com, which is our website, and they scroll through and they click on the logo, say for LaForge or Sardella's or wherever they would like to go, and that will take them to the online ordering platform for that particular restaurant, and that's basically the same thing from there. And they order the food, and then it gets my call center calls it in, and we end up delivering it to them nice and hot.
Wow, and it's that simple. You don't
It's
have
that simple.
and let's be blunt too. Newport, if for the uninitiated, is a city for whom navigation systems have gone to die. The very fact that you're right, am I wrong?
Yeah.
No, it's not a gentle place to drive for the first time. It is. It's interesting. I'll just put that out there. So your folks know
Yes.
Newport cold. Most of them are from
Yeah.
Newport or from the island. So for them,
We're
they
all
may
neighbors.
right. They may even know the people they're delivering to. So you're not going to have your meal does not become a generation lost in space.
Yeah.
Your meal is not part of
No, it
that.
doesn't. Often.
Your meal does not get attached to that post office delivery. You know, the one that you ordered from a store in Cranston that ended up in upstate New York before it got delivered back to the bucket. No,
Yes. I
can you guarantee me
No,
that?
it does not. I promise you. I promise you that your meal is not going to end up in upstate New York. Okay? It's gonna end up
No,
on
no,
your
no,
doorstep.
no, I just
Somewhere, on your doorstep in Newport, Middletown, or Portsmouth, wherever you live, it's getting
right,
there, and
right.
it's going to get there fast.
No, no,
And
no.
odds are you're going to know one of our drivers because we're all locals, which is great.
Right.
So,
So, and just for the record, and this is coming from the son of a 39-year, 7-month employee of the United States Post Office, the post office is not involved whatsoever in local delivery, is it? You are not outsourcing to blue and white cargo vans, are you?
no,
Okay,
no,
all right,
no, no,
all
we're
right.
not.
Now we're all, God bless you, post office, but we're all good with that. So, all right. So in other words, no one in upstate New York will have an opportunity to dine and dash, as we say in Little Red Eye, or what's the term in Providence? Chew and screw. No one's chewing and screwing in upstate New York with your dinner from LaForge. Okay, so
And unless Pat, we extend the radius of our delivery out there, but we may need to incorporate planes if we're going to get the meal there that hot.
all right, or drones. Drones are the next thing, right? I want to know when the
Drones,
first
yes, drones.
Anthony Spiratos delivery drone is going to take place in the city of Newport, the city by the sea. Um, Clearly, the restaurant owners, I mean, the word of mouth already is that they're overjoyed. I,
Oh yes, definitely. I get calls every day. And I gotta say, I could not have done this without the team that I have. I mean, they are absolutely amazing. Everything from logistics right down to driving. Everybody has conducted themselves in such a professional manner, and they're hardworking. They're enthusiastic about seeing this company grow and this company helping out as many restaurants as possible. And they've really gone to bat for this company, and they've helped me grow this from just a couple of restaurants to 25, and some of the restaurants we're still building the menus for, and we're going to launch some this week and next week. Like for instance, tomorrow we're pleased to announce we're going to be launching Midtown Oyster Bar, very popular place, and on Thursday we're launching the Green Dragon Chinese food restaurant, and it's great to have them on board. And we're in talks with a lot of other restaurants too. On top of that, and if we continue the rate of growth, I wouldn't be surprised in about a month if we go from say 25 restaurants to maybe 40 or 50. And then who knows, you know it, it it's amazing what we can do in a short amount of time. And on top of that, I should mention too that we give 10% of our profits that we make to the MLK community center food programs, and also we're going to be beginning to make donations. 10% of our profits are also going to be going to the Potter League for animals where my dog came from, where I adopted him, Riley. Who, if you watch my Facebook, you see plenty of pictures of him. I know you have, Pat.
Yes.
But yeah, two great organizations that that work side by side, and we're really happy to be able to help them out.
No, that's outstanding. I mean, the entire story is outstanding. Yeah, I got to ask, just out of malicious glee, um, what's been the reaction from, let's just call it the mainstream dining delivery community? Is if Do they realize that there's a new sheriff in town yet?
You mean like the third party apps,
Yeah.
or you mean like the actual? Yeah. So I'm not quite sure. I have gotten, interestingly enough, recently I did get a friend request from somebody in the uh, corporate realm of DoorDash, friend requesting me on LinkedIn from the Midwest, and I thought to myself, how on earth does this guy know who I am?
Hmm.
So, and how did he find me? So I'm wondering if maybe the local drivers here for DoorDash, whoever they get, or the local people, the corporate people here for DoorDash, when they go to these restaurants and they try to recruit them, are saying, no, we're going to go with the local company. And they're probably, losing out. But, it's their own fault because,
Right.
had they been running a good business that actually catered to the needs of the community and to the restaurants and the customers, there would have been no need for me to be in existence with this company. But there's a huge need for it because of their practices, and so that's why this new model is born, and that's why we're going to take this as far as we possibly can, because every restaurant on this island and off island, it needs it right now. I don't know of one restaurant that's not struggling.
Right. Well, and I just want to say this with regard to that little LinkedIn moment. Coincidence? I think not. There's as much a coincidence as someone from one of those companies researching you as well. Just the last month or so, Mrs. Grebian, the wife of the mayor of Pawtucket, showed up on my LinkedIn page inquiring about me. I doubt it was because of the dulcet tone of my voice. Folks need to know, if you're going to
Could be.
stalk someone on the community, LinkedIn tells you. You don't even need the fancy version. Well, and here's, to get back to the central theme. There's a synergy here. Um, for businesses in the new millennium to truly be successful, not only do you have to offer a service that, well, people need, But it's clear when you look at the some of the shoe companies and the socks companies, and one of the most progressive methods of achieving business growth is that shared profit motivation. Clearly, it is great for the community that you're donating a portion of the profits, because now people have an investment in your success and you have an investment in their success. There's a mutuality there that I think really is emblematic of the new great disruptive companies in this country. There's a recognition that while as a capitalist you don't have to participate in the affairs of not-for-profits, but that you should if you can. And by doing so, there's a mutual benefit that really transcends just a simple quote unquote business transaction, someone buying a meal from somebody. And when we find that type of community, it just there's truly, I believe, you'll hear me say this from time to time, and I love your reaction to this. To me, capitalism is a mechanism by which every individual reaches their full human potential. And taking your business and incorporating community centers into the profit structure just takes that a step further. What do you say to that?
I agree. And, I was always taught from an early age, if you're in a position to help out people and make the community better, you should. And my late mother taught me that. She was always active in the community here, and following in her footsteps as much as possible. I believe that there's a way that we can give back, and I think that we can make this community better off for it. And I think it's an important part of a business to do. Business is yes, it's about making money, but you can use that if you choose, and I choose to do so, and that's the great thing about this country. You have choice. Is that you can take something that is capitalistic in nature and imaginative in nature, and you can um, really drive it to its full potential. And in doing so, you can really you can really I mean you can really change the world, really, by doing it. I mean, look at all the people like this in this day and age that have taken something, an idea, such as like Elon Musk, and really really worked at it and really just made it happen. There's a story that recently that I saw, and it kind of makes a lot of sense with what's going on today with delivery. And years ago, there was a man that went to visit Blockbuster. You remember Blockbuster, right?
Oh yeah.
So he went to visit him. He had this idea. That was, and it was wild too at the time. Said, I'm going to put all of your videos online, and I'll even run it for you. He told the corporate Blockbuster headquarters that he would do that. He said, "Yeah, I'll run it for you. It's going to be a success, and it's going to be wonderful for this company. I'll run it for you. It's going to be really profitable." Well, Blockbuster laughed him out of the office, and so Reed Hastings walked out of there, and then he founded Netflix.
Yep.
and, and now it's $189 billion, and where is Blockbuster today? And so there's always corporate disruptors. There's always business disruptors, and that's what's great about this. And I feel that, and the great thing, this is the difference, in my company, I always have an open door policy with anybody that works for me. If you come to me with an idea, I'm going to listen to it because it could be the next big thing. I'll give you an example. This past summer, I had the contract for the delivery for Easton's Beach Snack Bar, and one day the traffic was backed up on Memorial Boulevard. Anybody that's ever been to Newport knows in the summer,
Oh, yeah.
Memorial Boulevard, around 4 or 5 o'clock, backed up, and you can't get in and out of the parking lot there to deliver. It's very hard. So one of my main people there, who's now I promoted to chief logistics officer. She got a promotion because of this idea. She said to me, Anthony, why don't we deliver to the beach? I said, what do you mean? She says, why don't we deliver to people's beach blankets? And I said, that's ingenious. I said, I didn't think of it. It's so simple. It's so simple. So we took it to the owner of the snack bar, and he says, oh my God, that's amazing. We started the next day. It was a hit because people that are on opposite ends of the beach don't want to walk up to the snack bar. They want to have the food brought out to them. So it was a huge mega success. I mean, so I always have an open door policy, and that's how you can evolve a company. When we first started this, um, I knew nothing about the delivery business. I'll be the first to admit I knew nothing about it, but you learn. Yes, you're going to make mistakes at first, but you learn from them and you get better and you strive for perfection. And let me tell you, it's been an amazing journey. I've met some amazing people. I have an amazing team now that's formed, and we really provide a high class quality service that the restaurants need, but doesn't take a penny from them, and
Mhm.
that way they can actually profit from delivery.
Right.
And we also are transparent with our fees to the customer. We tell the customer right when they go on the site, the first thing they see is we charge a flat rate of $5 for a delivery, plus 2.9% of the whole total cost of the order, which we actually don't profit off of. That's what Square charges us.
Mhm.
And we pass it on to the customer. We're upfront with it. $5, that's where we make our money. And so if you have $100 order on food, it's not that bad being delivered to you in a very quick manner where it's hot, and
Right.
by people that are from the restaurant industry, and so it really helps out the restaurant industry and the community as a whole, and it's just a great group of people to work with, and the restaurant industry. I believe, again, I believe that we can truly save it. I think we can. I know we
Well,
can.
well, when and the economists call things like COVID exogenous events, and when exogenous events happen, there is always a hangover or an opportunity, depending on how the individual reacts. Interestingly enough, in my other life, I deal a lot with commercial contractors, people like that. And for those folks who've been able to maintain employment, and there's clearly a divide in this nation, and what's happened to a number of employees, tragic. Uh, but clearly, there's a lot of people who are investing into their homes. And there's clearly a lot of people who probably will never go out to eat in this manner in which they've done ever again. I believe, and we're not sure what that measurement is yet. I mean, the jury's out, if you will. A lot of it will depend on the length of this pandemic. A lot of it will depend on the regional severity, how different populations react. But I think it's fair to say that dining habits in America are undergoing not just an evolutionary change right now, a revolutionary change. But if you're in a position where you can go out to eat, Rhode Islanders going out to eat, it's of course a state sport. We can all be broke, but there'll be pre-COVID, there would have been lines out the door on a Friday night. You can't get a table. Everybody's broke, but we'll still figure out a way to go out to eat. Well, this is the beauty of your solution. People have been putting money into their homes. They feel safer in their homes. They're encouraged to stay at home, if you will. But what you're giving them, and let's take the restaurants out of the equation for a moment. But what you're giving to folks on Aquidneck Island right now, and probably soon the rest of Rhode Island at some level, is an opportunity to recreate that experience, that dining out experience, in a safe format where they're very comfortable. And so imagine now, because
Yes.
because of your company, and you live in Newport, and for folks who haven't been to Newport, we all know the mansions. Newport is a wildly interesting city with a lot of folks like me, ham and eggers, regular working folks. There's wildly different neighborhoods all over Newport. But because of your company, you can go out to dinner at home in a manner
Yeah.
that's affordable. So you're sitting in front of. I mean, I can't imagine what Super Bowl day is going to be like. Holy cow! You got the
We're
opportunity.
ready.
You got the opportunity to get the very best that Newport has to offer in front of your 200-inch brand new flat screen, watching the game. If in fact any of us are still interested in whatever teams, don't matter. But you're able to eat out at home, and it's the best of all worlds right now for Rhode Islanders, and you feel good about doing it because the restaurant's not getting whacked. You're not getting whacked. The meal is restaurant quality. It's in the same presentation that you would have if you ventured downtown. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud to call you a friend because there's a lot of people, particularly in the depths of this winter, that are going to take a lot of comfort from that. And what you're bringing to them, not as just dinner, but as a little bit of normality, a little bit of how things were 8 or 9
Yeah.
months ago. And buddy, let me tell you, we could all use a little bit of how things were 8 or 9 months ago right now, couldn't we?
Amen to that. I agree.
So let's engage as we always do at the end of our show and a little bit of what we call shameless self-promotion here on the Coalition Radio Network. Tell folks exactly the different ways they can find you, some of the different restaurants, and and we'll do our best to spread the word about Aquidneck Island. And hopefully, what'll happen is you're just going to start. And I predict this. Given the publicity you're getting, the success that not just the success, but the quality of the execution, that all of a sudden you're going to get calls from people in Coventry, you're going to get calls from the people on the Tony East Side, you're going to get calls from people on Atwells Avenue and Atwood Avenue, and because everybody in Rhode Island is a foodie, we just all are. So
Yes.
lay it out for folks. Give them one more dose of dine out, Newport dining, if you will, 101.
Really will help out a lot of the restaurants that are in town. Or if you happen to know who we're already partnered with, such as LaForge, Sardella's, Fifth Element, Salvation, Malt, we're really, really fortunate. We're lucky to be on this island in the state, and we believe that we can definitely make a difference. And we can help out any restaurant and every restaurant, not only on the island, but we're looking forward to helping out those that are affected from this pandemic across this state and beyond.
And just as importantly, if a restaurant wants to on-ramp with you folks, how do they reach out to you?
They can just they can go to my website. My telephone number is on there to get to call the company. But I'll give it to you. It's 401 or they can send me an email at Anthony that we can to do that. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions from any restaurants and to partner with them also.
Excellent. Wow. It's just so impressive. You're right. It's got an opportunity not just to save Rhode Island, if you restaurant community, but if you will, spiritually, to save Rhode Island. Um, well, listen, Anthony, great to have you on the show. Again, one more time, the
Thanks
website.
for having me.
You can find you at No Contact Valet. You can find you at the Newport Dining website. Just folks, jump on board. Let's have some fun with this. Let's get Rhode Island back up in speed. You know, it's always going to be about, and this has been the mantra since we've started the show, if you will, a few weeks ago. It's going to be always about Rhode Islanders helping out other Rhode Islanders. This is an incredible place to live with incredible people. We need to stop waiting for someone, for the cavalry, if you will, even though in a sense, Anthony, your company's kind of acting like the local cavalry, but I think folks know what I'm talking about. It's going to be Rhode Island businesses, Rhode Island individuals helping out other Rhode Island businesses and individuals. And when we realize that and we get fired up, I think we're going to come out of this. Ultimately, we're going to come out of this winners. We just need to get on the stick and get going right away. Again, thanks for joining us, folks. That was Anthony
Thanks,
Spiratos
Pat.
from Newport. With Ramp. Your host, Tina.